Everyone knows the stories of famous cryptids like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and the Mothman. But there exists an entire world of lesser-known, more bizarre cryptids as well. Today we take a look at some of those as we learn about three obscure cryptids. This is Red Web. Welcome back, Task Force! It's another Mystery Monday. Welcome back to Red Web. I'm Trevor Collins. With me, Alfredo Diaz. You ready to talk about some cryptids?
I feel like these are going to be just like comic book characters that no one ever talks or cares about, and these are like this is the bottom trash.
Right, like the scrapings.
Dude.
Bottom of the barrel, V1. Like
we had like a tier list. It'd be like F tier.
Right, F tier superheroes right here.
Right.
What happened was they had their first edition comics come out. No one bought them, so they just got burned.
No one bought them. No one cared, and here they are as cryptids now.
Yeah. Oh, and I did forget to say the reason why we're doing this Three Obscure Cryptids is because we finally launched the cryptid pin set.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Store.roosterteeth.com. Want to get your pins on? I know a lot of you like to collect them out there. But yeah, I'm really excited to finally have these in the store. A long time coming. They're very cool.
Pick them up. They're gonna get scooped up fast.
Yes.
I've never said that on the show. These will most likely get scooped up right away.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if we release a series 2 and it's these cryptids, we have gone too far. Someone stop us. We have too much power.
Man. The cryptids we're going to talk about.
Ugly cryptids.
Oh, they're the best. Oh, yes. All right, write that down, Christian.
You got it.
So we have three relatively obscure cryptids. One is a suggestion from myself, so I know about that one. But I wanted to go into this episode with the notes on the other two, having been much more unfamiliar with them, so I could experience these cryptids with you. Because Jillian, our researcher, this first cryptid's called Squonk.
No way, bro.
It's Squonk. And it is her favorite cryptid of all time.
Jillian loves Squonk.
Wait,
I had no idea there were such Squonk fans out there.
This like trash tier cryptid named Squonk.
Yeah, all right.
Jillian is like obsessed with Squonk.
Yes.
You're hitting me with a lot right now.
Right. There's a lot to
At
digest
me with this show. This is a lot to digest.
But this episode's only going to be
small, tiny, mythical creature.
Right. Well, you're about to have a 7-course meal on Squonk, dude. This is going to get, there's a lot.
Who the hell is Squonk? What? Like, where does he live? What the hell does Squonk do?
You know what? We did this in our Jersey Devil episode. I let you describe the Jersey Devil as you saw in your head. I think I want to do that here with Squonk. Before we get into the details, where does he live? What does he look like? What's he up to you?
So, Squonk is half mouse, half centaur, but he's probably like...
Which a centaur, by the way, is half man, half horse.
Yeah.
So we're getting weird with the fractions now. Okay.
Don't worry about it. That's why he's
I'm not worried.
A trash tier cryptid.
Which part of the centaur did he get?
He's like 6 inches tall, and he's notorious for getting into your cookie cabinets.
Oh, no. Cookie cabinets?
Yeah.
This man's got a lot of cookies, Christian.
Yeah. If anyone has a cabinet full of cookies, he's after them. Heaven forbid you throw that cookie somewhere else.
Well, that's why you don't hear about cookie cabinets much anymore. And that's because our great ancestors, as wise as they were, did away with those.
They were getting cleaned out.
Right.
They never knew why,
Too many
how,
squonks.
where. There's more than one Squonk.
Well,
I guess when a mommy Squonk and a daddy Squonk get together.
A family of squonks. What would you call like a batch of squonks?
A batch of Squonks?
Yeah.
Scraps.
Okay.
There's a moving herd of scraps.
Yeah. All right. Well, as you probably already could tell, many of our episodes here on Red Web dive into the paranormal, the mysteries, unsolved mysteries on the internet, true crime. We always hit those like.
I just really want you to sell me on this cryptid.
I'll sell you on it, but we always hit those like sinister notes, right? We like to get atmospheric. This one is definitely going to be a more lighthearted.
Oh, okay.
Episode.
I was about to be like this Squonk.
If you couldn't tell at the top here.
Like, I don't know, blood vessels or some weird random thing.
Sucking them dry, that's how.
Dude,
remember the mummy?
Your system? Yeah.
That might be the most obscure quote I use all the time. I couldn't even find a YouTube clip of it.
Scared of beetles because of the scare beetle scene. It's crawling under your skin.
That's what Squonk does.
That CG does not hold up.
Well, All right.
Your opinion.
Let's get into Squonk. Again, this first cryptid and the third cryptid we're going to talk about are the ones I don't know much about. And so I'm just as much along for the ride as you are. I'm very excited. So squonks are said to roam free in the hemlock forests of Pennsylvania. These are also essentially the wetlands in northern parts of Pennsylvania. My favorite fact, they are called, quote, the homeliest animals in the world.
I thought you were going to say the homeless.
No.
The homeless animals.
No.
I'm like, oh, poor squonks.
Homely being modest of appearance. In fact, it is said that squonks know that they are ugly.
This is, okay, you making this stuff up?
This is all
How
information
far-
from the most passionate squonk stand
How far
I
are
know.
we? How far are we? Is this episode away from
April 1st?
April 1st?
Christian,
I mean,
you want to break it to him?
Not far enough. Do I want to break it to him?
Yeah.
I ain't nothing to break.
We're batch recording.
Christian's
Let's
face
say
is
that.
Kind
giving
of
it
out
away.
there. This could be April 1st.
Christian's face is
That's
giving it
not.
away
It's
We're
right
trying
not.
to get ahead.
We're very ahead. We skipped a lot.
Okay, this just like what?
So we got a cute little creature. A heinous little creature in the wetlands of northern Pennsylvania.
So, but
Not my words.
so they're these weird cryptids that are tiny, ugly, and they know they're ugly.
They know they're ugly.
and they have fans.
They got big fans.
Maybe a fan.
Oh,
Might
right.
just be- might be
Jillian's
just
on the
Jillian.
message boards talking to themselves, going like, "Hey, nobody else here likes Squonk." But
Skunk.org.
you know, Squonk is standing up to be a potential mascot for this show, so show some respect. We're gonna see this on every piece of merchandise we sell for moving. You're gonna have little tags with Squonk
is
on
gonna
it.
be. You're gonna have like just a traditional like. We're talking about like a real cool because our merch is traditionally cool. Like jacket or maybe like detective badge, whatnot. Squonk's just gonna be hidden somewhere.
It's gonna be
It might
there.
be like etched in on the side.
We might have to hide it down inside the sleeve, but
yeah, it'll be hidden in the sleeve.
Yeah.
But Squonk is watching.
could you imagine if we like, here's our business line and we sell business clothes and there's like a polo in there. And so instead of like little crocodile or a little,
Right.
Nautica
little-
boat, you got
Right.
Squonk. It's a little chest hit, little embroidered Squonk. Anyway, let's talk about what Squonk looks like. I could go on for
It's just
days.
going to be scaled to size.
So Squonk
Mm-hmm.
are small. They walk on 4 short legs and they're beige in color. Most depictions show them as having squat bodies and large heads with no neck, much like a pig. The first written mention of a squawk comes from 1910 in a book entitled Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods by William T. Cox. I'm going to read an excerpt now from this book.
Oh boy, here we go.
The squonk is of a very retiring disposition, generally traveling about at twilight and dusk. Because of its misfitting skin, which is covered with warts and moles, it is always unhappy. Hunters who are good at tracking are able to follow a squonk by its tear-stained trail, for the animal weeps constantly. When cornered and escape seems impossible, or when surprised and frightened, it may even dissolve itself in tears. So, unlike the sinister nature of a potential like Jersey Devil or Mothman or what have you, this creature is helpless, feared of itself, unhappy, and apparently its skin is ill-fitting. I don't know how the evolutionary process works, but I don't think it worked here. What?
I mean,
What's going on,
the
Christian?
man's right.
I don't know much about science. I don't know if you've seen me. I'm not buff.
Darwin
But based on
was-
what I'm hearing, what is ill-fitting
was
skin good
brutal.
for? Well, I'm just being honest.
I don't
The poor
know,
thing.
man. Mother
I'm not
Nature
saying it shouldn't exist.
took
I'm
the
saying
day off or something,
right.
Or had the intern take care of that.
This was born in the
creature.
dark, where God forgot to see. You know what I'm saying? Like
Bro, what? Okay, so
this one needed
the
supervision.
thing that blows my damn mind the most is that Jillian's obsessed with this thing.
Yeah.
There's so many other things to do with your life, Jillian. This squonk.
There's so much more.
There's so much more to life than these squonks.
Oh man. Fredo flying her around like Aladdin trying to show her the world. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, where are the squonks
There's
at?
a whole new world, and we're riding on the red web carpet, and here you are looking to the ground instead of the skies.
Squonk, the final frontier.
Also, that'll be $20 for the ride.
Yeah. No employee discounts. Now, squonk are said to travel more slowly at night than during the day and try not to see themselves in moonlit waters. They're really hammering home this detail of this kind of self-hate.
Yeah,
here.
this narrative is like, they ugly.
Yeah.
By the way, did we forget to mention that they ugly?
Yeah, right. They originally lived in more arid terrains. Maybe this kind of explains their kind of look. I don't know. So they originally lived in more arid terrains, but as these areas disappeared and became more swampy, they gradually moved to the waters of the hemlock forests, hence their natural stomping grounds now being the wetlands of North Pennsylvania. They developed webbed feet, hold on. They developed webbed feet, but only their left feet because they like to walk around lakes.
Of course. I was
So-
like, they developed web feet. Weirdos. What a bunch of weirdos. And then it gets even weirder.
I didn't know
Just
what I was
the
getting
left
into
feet?
when I yes-anded Jillian saying, "Oh, I love this squonk." I was like, "Excellent."
Wait,
That was us placing our trust in Jillian.
I love this.
And I love that we're doing it. But okay, so it has web feet on the left.
one foot. That doesn't make any sense.
No. Listen to the reasoning, you silly boy. They walk around lakes. If you walk around in a counterclockwise fashion, guess what? You got one left foot getting wet, or I guess for them, two left feet getting wet.
Yeah, so they're just.
Now, if they started swimming, circles.
I would have never been able to guess what this damn animal looks like. I thought what I
You
said
did a
was
decent
weird.
job.
This is weird.
This is weird. Yes, I thought you were creative, you were inspired,
Yeah.
but I don't think anyone
Half
could.
mouse, half centaur.
Right. And I don't think anyone can guess the accuracy of this actual creature. But yeah, they have webbed feet only on their left feet. But supposedly the person named J.T. Wentling caught a squonk in a bag by mimicking its cries. But notice that the bag became extremely light because the creature had melted away. Remember, apparently a defense mechanism is that they just cry themselves apart.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's how they've never been caught or seen or photographed.
I wouldn't be here if I was a squonk. Elementary school had its number on me. We don't need to. This isn't psychology. We don't need to dive into all this though. But coming back to J.T. Wentling, their story about catching the squonk may be one of the few recorded sightings at all of this creature. Another sighting comes from the author Walt Franklin's blog, The Rivertop Rambles, back in 2014, so actually relatively recently. He described seeing, quote, a fat gray bird, the size of a chicken, stumble into the streamside grasses, crying uncontrollably and disappearing from view, end quote.
So wait, when it cries and dies,
Or becomes less corporeal. I don't know what happens to it.
cries and
Maybe this is the
dies.
origin of ghosts. This is ghosts when they're, and then they cry themselves apart, then they just become ghosts.
No.
Ah, fair enough.
Is that how baby hands got? No.
Man, baby hand started as a little squonk.
No, baby hands not a squonk.
No, that's true.
He lived a better life.
Those were fully formed, non-webbed hands. I've seen them.
Yeah, we've seen those. We've seen baby hands.
We've seen those paws.
We've seen them up against the damn side of a chapel for some reason.
I want to go back and place my hand against it, like next to
That's
it,
what I'm saying. Measure
like
it
an
out.
impassioned hand imprint in the glass,
Well, yeah,
Titanic
proof.
style.
I mean, like, obviously baby hands, little ghosts, but like, if I was to not believe that like a little ghost baby went up and made little handprints, so you're just telling me that like a raccoon walked up and just put his paws up against the thing? You know what I mean? Like,
Entirely
look,
possible.
the paws were there, okay? The
Yeah.
handprints were there. Whether or
Right.
not you believe it was a ghost, something did it.
For if you think that was a raccoon, then you're denying baby hands. And to deny
No,
baby hands,
I'm not denying baby
not
hands.
you, but those out there
I'm
who
just-
might be baby hands
I'm just
deniers.
in my head, a gang of raccoons like walked up and like, this place is scary, and they're like, yo, check this out. I'm gonna leave my prints. And just bam.
Yeah, they walked up and they made a maybe it was two different raccoons, and they said, "We'll remember this together."
Oh,
Right hand,
one
left hand,
each.
one each. Yeah,
and that
like a
was
pact.
if it wasn't a little ghost baby hands.
Right.
I mean, don't
But it
forget the
was.
phone. There was the little phone. That was like a
Right.
foot off
There was the
ground.
phone.
And then the wheelchair. There was a little baby.
There was
There was
a
baby wheelchair, there was the
baby
phone,
hands,
there was,
little
like,
An
wheelchair.
old rotary
Baby hands
phone, 2 feet off the
paraphernalia
ground.
was at this
Yes.
hospital.
Who's this?
Evidence, I
I'm
call
just-
it.
That's
Look,
a better
I'm just
word.
trying to play both sides of the fence here. Who's to say that the raccoons were joyriding in the wheelchair,
Making
bro?
calls and joyriding,
Come on.
ordering pizza, and no.
Okay, so this thing is weird.
So this thing is
getting
very
back to
weird.
This thing is really weird.
Yeah.
I just
What's up? What's going on? I can see the stress in your brow.
I can literally look a person in the eye that like messes with squonks. It's Jillian.
Yeah. Yep. We needed. Why didn't we have Jillian here?
We should have. I will say
to defend herself.
I messaged Jillian and I said, I hope you're okay with being talked about as the #1 Squonk fan. She said, oh my God, yes. And then she said, he's just like me.
Oh no! Oh no! He's just like me. You know what? Sometimes we see ourselves in art,
for sure.
you know, and sometimes we see ourselves in Squonk.
I just have so many damn questions.
Because, we should do a little bonus interview episode with Jillian and talk about
Squonk.
Yeah.
Squonk. I just want to
I'll ask her.
why?
First of all, what's wrong? What's wrong? Second of all, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's just the most randomest little.
You see how the tone shifts though when we go from an abominable Yeti snowman that eats humans,
right,
to
a squonk.
To a squonk.
It sounds
how the tables turn.
It sounds weird. Look, this thing is just so random that there was a decent chance that I would have went my entire life without knowing what the hell this is. That's part 1. Part 2 is I now know what it is, and I now know someone that's infatuated with this damn thing.
You went from 0 to 100 really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
welcome to the task force.
And I'm sure she's a part of some kind of Facebook group where they squonk it up.
They squonk around. You know, they've been known to
They
squonk.
go, oh, you squonking? Yeah, I'm squonking.
Well, I mean, that's also something very morbid in that she says, he's just like me. And I don't think I need to outline why, but dang. Anyway, well, it is worth saying that Jillian thinks Squonk is quite a cute little creature.
She's been pushing for Squonk for months.
She's been pushing for Squonk. We got squonk pushers at the task force.
It was like she staged a walkout. If we didn't do a Squonk episode, there was going to be no more episodes until Squonk.
Bro,
she had a whole Squonk down, and the day is counted by.
I feel like in my head, Red Web Task Force HQ, right? Everyone there got their badge, dressed to the nines, baby hands just floating around doing his thing.
Right.
We all have our own office. Jillian has her own office. And we just kind of let Jillian do their thing for months on end. And I feel like I just knocked on the door because I needed something from Jillian and no answer. Door's unlocked. I open, look, and there's just the red web string and it's the squonks. And I'm just like, what is this, bro?
She's been working on a major project. I have a major breakthrough. Don't come in.
Like, what? I feel like I just stumbled upon.
It's like one of those spooky movies when somebody like The Shining, when they finally take a peek at the work and it's just pages and pages of the word squonk, and you're like, oh no,
oh okay,
oh boy.
Okay, I'm still my mind. You broke me quick on this one.
Well, let's go back to Walter Franklin's sighting of this creature. Right outside of his description, right, of it being maybe a fat gray bird the size of a chicken, stumbling and crying uncontrollably. He approached the creature. He claimed it turned into a long snake before he realized it was a rope of leaves and dirt in the water. So, to recap very quickly, he approaches this crying mass that's struggling around in the water. And he goes, oh my God, it's a squonk. He approaches it.
So he knew at that moment that it was a squonk.
Maybe. So he approaches it. He goes, oh my God, it turned into a snake. Where's it going? Oh, that's a rope covered in leaves and dirt. So really what was once seen as a squonk ended up being a little mound of trash.
Kind of appropriate.
And I don't know if it turned into that trash or if it was just a inadvertent sighting, but interesting.
Like little trash gremlins.
Yeah, exactly. Like a raccoon that lost all of its hair and its skin kept growing, but everything else stayed the same.
So then it got
Squonk.
Saggy.
Yeah.
The hair stopped growing, but the skin kept growing. Think of nightmares.
Now let's talk about maybe where this originated from, because the story of the squonk, you know, as enticing and titillating as it is, seems to have originated from the need to protect the hemlocks from over-harvesting around the time of Cox's Fearsome Creatures was published. So basically, almost a superhero. We have another superhero cryptid in play to save the wetlands, right? This is the face, the figure, the voice of a conservative effort.
What is this episode? So they popped up to protect?
Basically, I mean, that was my own kind of storytelling, but what it sounds like is, a lot of these cryptids and creatures start as word of mouth, storytelling,
Right.
etc. And a lot of the
Terrors of
Squonk
the
ones,
Night, Protector of the Woods.
right. So they usually start somewhere. This one started within the logging camps. And the story has it that as they continued to harvest the wood from this forest, they were over harvesting, they were over deforesting, right? And so whether it was real or not, it became kind of like a thing to protect the Squonk, or the Squonk was protecting the forest, kind of like a little Lorax situation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it got its start as a story. And maybe it's spun away from itself since then.
Right. They didn't do
But
a
yeah.
good job.
Going back to Cox, though, who wrote that book, right? He later became Minnesota's first state forester.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So his experience with Squonk and, maybe got him a leg up to be a forester. What does a forester do in particular, Christian?
Yeah, is he protecting the forest, or is he tearing the forest
Or is
down?
he a logger?
Foresters plan and help carry out forestry projects like planting new trees, monitoring and conserving wildlife habitats, choosing and preparing timber plots, assessing current timber value, and suppressing forest fires.
And transplanting Squonks.
He works for Smokey the Bear.
Yeah. Sounds like controlled fires, just making sure the
Yeah.
forest is healthy and
Yeah.
doing the good work, right? Now, in 1895, only 9 million acres of forested land remained in Pennsylvania before the arrival of Europeans. The number was almost 3 times that prior.
Oof.
So it just shows how much land was pulled
Yeah.
apart and deforested for the sake of building and just consumption, right? Just humans.
Yep.
And in 1915, the state began replanting, and then in 2020, the forests increased upwards of 16.5 million acres, nearly 60% of the state now. So say what you will about Squonk, but it sounds like, they're out there making moves.
Maybe they're just crying on the plot of land. And
Watering trees.
Watering trees.
Yeah.
That's the contribution I see Squonks doing.
Yeah. You know what? I like a nice positive cryptid. They don't all have to be out there killing and eating humans or abducting people or
Who's to say they're not
scaring?
just dipping into people, like taking a bath in people's teas and crying themselves and dissolving into it?
who knows if you drank a Squonk? You think that's water you're drinking now?
Doesn't seem squonky to me.
Yeah, what would it do? I don't even want to ask the question.
Probably tastes moldy.
Yeah. Like stagnant.
Just really moldy.
But
bit of
lastly, a little salty. Lastly, on the front of Squonk here, in responding to comments on Franklin's blog, he wrote that with the difficulty and the stress involving the logging work, many drank whiskey, which likely led to the hallucinations and maybe exacerbating some of the storytelling, but also creating the illusion of looking into the dark, into the forest, seeing things and hearing things. And so if you have a bunch of loggers who are really deep in their bottle of whiskey,
So wait,
that
whiskey?
could be the origin
Huh.
of this creature.
Whiskey causes hallucinations?
I mean, if you get drunk enough, I imagine.
Oh, okay. Just like drinking can cause a hallucination.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
I'm just quoting what
I was about to
Franklin's
be
saying
like,
here.
what?
Yeah, but
Learn
to-
something about whiskey.
yeah. Well, to quote him specifically, he says, "My take on Squonk is that it does appear differently to whomever apprehends it, as you say, depending on sobriety, personality, fears, desires, etc." I think probably putting most emphasis on sobriety, but the fact that it shifts based on who is seeing it is interesting.
Maybe it is a creature that shapeshifts.
Maybe it is. What is that thing in Harry Potter? Boggart? Boggart? B-O-G-G-A-R-T?
Yeah, boggart. Yeah.
The boggart.
Yeah.
It turns into your nightmares or something like
It
that.
turns into the thing
Oh,
you fear
yeah.
most.
Things you're,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it was.
And then
What
you
was
do
afraid
like a
of.
closet?
Ridiculous! And then it turns into whatever.
Something crazy.
Yeah, like Snape
silly.
in a gown.
I'm silly. It was Snape in a gown.
Or the moon becomes a balloon.
Mr. Potter.
New celebrity. I totally watched that the other day. But yeah, that's Squonk.
What a weird little thing. That's
I kind of like it now. It's almost wormed its way into my heart. I think that is the best action verb for that.
That's how it
What's
got
wrong? Why are you
Jillian.
shaking your head?
it's just we have such a big task force backlog of mysteries and
Mhm.
more important things, and we just don't need Jillian and infecting the department with these Squonk theories.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm starting to like this little Squonk guy. And sometimes you need a break from all the mysteries, the sinister,
the
the
conspiracy,
depraved.
right? And you
the
look
nefarious.
and you just want to look at little weird dudes.
Look at a little weird dude and assess. Is this a case we're diving
don't look at
into,
him
or is
for-
it just all right?
Don't look at him for too long. He's
Well.
gonna just wait and then
What if he body swaps? You cross him in the eyes, you swap bodies with him, and then you melt. All right, let's talk about.
Could you imagine just like this little weird, ugly little creature just running up to you and trying to stare you down, so I can take your body?
Look at me!
Look at me! Hey me! Look at me! I want your buddy. Look at me!
Don't look down. There's a squonk at your ankles. What? Huh? What's a squonk? No, I can't look away. My eyes.
And then you become the thing that you feared. and then you're like, oh no!
Squonkatize me, Captain.
Weird. What a weird thing this is.
Very weird. Now, this one I know vaguely about. I don't know the inner details of it. This is
So wait,
one,
just to reiterate,
Yes.
Squonk was the one you knew about?
Squonk was not one I knew about.
Okay.
This next one I had known of, right?
Okay.
Because essentially every state has one kind of key cryptid.
All right.
So you could look at all 50 states and be like, there's 50 unique cryptids. Some of them seem related. Some of them are similar to Bigfoot. Some are similar to Nessie. Some are very unique and one-off, like Mothman or Squonk. But this next one definitely falls in a similar vein to Bigfoot. In fact, it's sometimes known as the Florida Bigfoot.
Of course, Floater has their own goddamn Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Could I not say that?
Yo, what's up?
Could I not say that?
He says it and then
So Christian type away. And I went, okay.
Just doing my job.
So let's
Look, man, I just work here.
talk about skunk ape.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
I'm gonna let that one sink in. I see it's hitting you deep. Skunk ape.
There's a weird team of cryptids.
It
dude.
is.
Like,
Here's the
you
thing,
see
and
a
that's why I wanted to
skunk
talk about
ape.
these obscure ones, because we all know the big ones. They all have
Yeah.
much more sightings about them. They have the quote unquote traditional,
Right, there's the
cryptid
There's
stuff.
the cool kid
Right.
cryptids.
We're looking at, the table beside the table in the lunchroom of cryptids. The one filled with all the
Cobwebs.
forgotten, toys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
The
one wants to play with a
misfits.
Squonk, though. Okay, so skunk ape
Skunk ape.
is it? Okay, so I'm assuming part ape, part skunk, really stinky, but
Boom. His face says it all.
likes eating
a little bit
bananas
disgusted, a
and
little bit
flinging
curious.
I don't.
Well, I don't know about that. So let's dive into skunk ape, because he purportedly lives, and I say he, they, it, the creature, purportedly lives in the marshy forests of southeastern U.S., specifically Florida, often seen in the Everglades. Very swampy. A lot of hair to be in the swampy,
Yeah.
mossy muck.
You gotta be dirty, gross, disgusting,
Just getting matted up.
sweaty.
But here's the thing. Much like Bigfoot, it is bipedal, right? Walks upright on two legs.
Right.
It's a little bit shorter than Bigfoot, somewhere between 5 and 7 feet tall, and it has more red color in its hair. It's got a little bit more of like a rusty brown, sometimes more outright reddish hair. Its name, not like it's creative or anything, I'm sorry, but it originates from its foul skunk-like smell. It is very much, and I actually have a picture of a purported skunk ape.
Of course,
I've seen this photo before in a
Of course.
textbook. It's kind of creepy.
Jesus Christ, this thing is terrifying.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It looks like a really big, really hairy, old ape,
yeah.
and it's got just an evil grin and piercing eyes.
Yeah.
There's
It's-
no way this is real.
Well, I think the creature and the photo are certainly real. Whether it is this particular cryptid or just a regular animal is yet to be determined.
No way.
If you want to get your eyes on it, Task Force, our Twitter page is always @RedWebPod,
That's a
and then
man
our YouTube channel where
in
we
an
put up those
outfit.
photos.
in
Could
Florida.
be.
And someone said, hey.
Hey, smile.
And they were just like, hey. Probably, they're like, hey, mijo, come over and take this photo of me in the costume.
And they said,
maybe we'll make some money.
Is this just so what you're saying is this is just a guy who likes to go out into the swamp,
They're just
collect himself in
Trying
this
to-
hairy suit, and just sit and
probably
think
just
about
did a little
life.
photo shoot.
Dang.
And then someone throw a rock. Anyone in Florida caught one in this photo and was like, oh my God.
Now, another interesting fact, besides its smell, is that they are also said to love lima beans.
Of course.
Would have been my dad's favorite child then. I didn't never finish my lima beans. Butter beans were the better version. They were a little bit bigger. They didn't have that little hard bit in there. Doesn't
is
matter.
there butter on them?
No.
Dude, what a lie. What a lie.
I'm like, this isn't buttery at all. This tastes like plant. Now, the Seminole in the Mikosuke tribe, and I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, have stories that feature a creature similar to skunk ape called Esti Kapkaki, or it translates to tall man in Seminole. It also has a bad smell, so it is basically unlike the Squonk, which has a more recent history stemming from drunken loggers, from my understanding. This seems to have more of a history in the native tribes of the area who also have stories of this creature that match the descriptions of it. And again, it's in their language called a tall man that also smells bad. So it's definitely a little bit more historied than the Squonk is.
I mean, this is more believable over Bigfoot just because of the fact
Really?
that, yeah, with Bigfoot, you said there's a whole group of them hanging out. This is just one dude stinking up Florida.
I mean, potentially, yeah. Now, there was a similar creature that was sighted, supposedly, in the small community of Barden, Florida in the 1940s. It was called the Barden Booger. Now, Florida got to treat your cryptids a little better with these names. Was this just a man covered in boogs, a little dripping with snot?
Barden Booger?
The Barden Booger.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I want to go back to work and just call everyone a booger now.
Hey, you booger.
I've been infected.
Now, the
Barden
earliest...
Booger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you this was a weird one.
It's definitely a weird one. But the earliest
like it.
written account of the skunk ape is from 1942, when someone claimed that while they were driving, a skunk ape rode up on the side of their truck.
Rode up.
Okay, they didn't ride up.
Okay.
I added the word up. They rode on the side of the truck.
Like, I knew that.
Skunk ape
you
pulls
didn't-
up.
You didn't mean it, but in my head, he pulled up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like a Ford F-150 or something like that.
No, I meant he was up on the side of the truck.
You know what I'm saying? And then just rolled up and then just stopped right next to another car. That's instantly the flash image that happened in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's definitely not what he meant.
Yeah. I just picture him on a small Vespa.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's environmentally conscious, you know. But other sightings became more frequent in the 60s and 70s. Pause. I wonder why.
Yeah.
A lot of substances passing
A
around
lot of
those
them.
decades.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of things.
You see everything. And
You
then
know?
you just hear about it. And you're thinking about it. And then you're taking all these hallucinative drugs. And then you're tripping out.
Yeah. Seeing squonks and skunk apes. Now, like I said, they did become more frequent in the 60s and 70s after two hunters camping in Big Cypress National Preserve
Nice.
claimed one of the creatures invaded their campsite in 1957. These sightings occurred all over Florida, but mainly, once again, in the Everglades.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that was probably a bear.
That's interesting, Christian.
Yeah, bears
are
in
there
Florida.
bears in Florida? I can see it now. Florida man releases series of bears after FBI raids place.
That's true.
Right? We're talking
That
about Bear King.
Well, Florida. Yeah, Bear King.
Or what was
It was Tiger King.
Tiger? Yeah.
Yeah, now
Okay.
it's Bear King. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. There's got to be someone that's like, you know what? That guy's the king of tigers. I'm the king of bears.
Right.
Yeah, there's a Florida black bear, this subspecies of the American.
Snap.
Boom. Mystery solved.
All right. How about this part? I haven't read this part yet.
okay.
But, I'm just
waiting on baby
you know.
breath. I was like, oh, snap. He's about to crack this wide open.
Now, another sighting featured two Palm Beach County police officers who claimed that they had to fend off a skunk ape that was stalking them. They followed the skunk ape's footprints to find damaged fences and whatnot, and that's when it was stalking them, and they had to fend it off. You saying these cops don't know what a bear looks like?
I'm just saying, if there's two cops and you see some kind of weird skunk ape like that, you pull out the issued firearm. You just start unloading.
Sometimes an unissued firearm, just whatever needs to be done.
Look, it might be you or the skunk ape. You put it.
I mean, if it was a bear, let's just be real. You're not fending off a black bear. I don't know about the Florida variety, but those are usually more aggressive.
Can you fend it off with two mags?
9 mil? You're just gonna piss the thing off. I don't know. See, like, what? How did they fend it off?
What are you laughing? I'm
You
just
set it off with
saying.
Two mags in the dome.
You know what I mean?
Straight through the heart. I don't know how they fended it off.
Not that you should go around shooting bears, but I'm just saying it's coming at you.
Right,
You have
right.
issued firearms.
Well, here's what I'm seeing. It was stalking them, but then they're the ones following its trail of footprints.
damn,
so-
it's
Who's stalking who now?
you know what I mean.
Asking for some skunk ape.
Slightly intelligent.
Maybe. There were also many other sightings of skunk ape around this time that a bill was introduced in Florida to prevent harm to.
Like an actual state bill.
Yeah. In 1977, there was a bill that was proposed to prevent the harm to, quote, anthropoid or humanoid animals. So, Florida, I mean, say what you will, they're at least trying to protect this thing. They might think, hey, this is the emergence of a new creature that we just haven't seen. Let's at least protect it. So, I mean,
In my
it doesn't
mind,
go extinct instantly.
literally one dude that told his little dude, "Hey, I'm gonna put this on. I'll take a quick photo. It's gonna be awesome." And now we got a bill pass.
Well,
Cops saying these seen
proposed.
something.
It was proposed. It never passed.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I wonder how close the vote was, though. Another surge of skunk ape sighting occurred in the 90s, because we all forgot the 80s. And in 1997,
Oh, good music.
yeah, in 1997, a tour bus with 30 to 40 people visiting Big Cypress all claimed to have seen the same strange bipedal creature. This sighting was highly publicized and reignited even more interest in the skunk ape. Probably what brought it into our more recent history. That reignition there in the 90s.
I will say it's a little harder to get a whole bus full of people on board with a lie like this.
Yeah. Convincing
believe
30
they
to 40
saw-
people?
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
a lot,
You must believe they saw something then, right?
You bring them into Task Force HQ, we'll grill them, we'll find the cracks,
Right.
expose them for their lies. But I think they saw
We're
a
also
bear.
going to stick them with truth serum. Bop! Tell us what you know.
I don't think we went public with that, but here we are.
And it all started in the 90s when I lied about skunk ape.
Here we are. I'm sure they just saw a bear or something, or stack of raccoons.
A stack of raccoons in an ill-fitting human suit. Yeah. So I have another
They're
photo here
shifty.
that is another proposed photo, and I'll get into the goings on of this photo. But again, I want to reference our YouTube page and our Twitter page if you want to check out photos. But coming in now, moving on from that bus full of people that supposedly saw the skunk ape, we have one David Shealy who founded the Skunk Ape Research Headquarters. Apparently, he had known about skunk ape since his childhood and tried to bait one that same year. Want to guess how he kind of baited this skunk ape to come out? Based on what you know.
The frozen meat for the family's dinner that week.
So his own frozen family meat? What?
Yeah, frozen family meat. You got steak in the fridge.
Oh,
Freezer.
his family's just fine. It's
No,
his family's meat.
No, man. No, we talk about sick stuff on this show.
Hey, listen.
This guy
I want to make
chopped
sure
up
it's
his
clear.
family and then
I'm just saying I want to make sure it's clear. People, the audience can't see the wild in your eyes when you say it.
I'm not saying he chopped up his family.
Well, I'll just say no meat. He left lima beans.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he left out little piles of lima beans in multiple locations.
Okay.
And then, hey, you know what? He found him missing the next morning. So he was on to something. So over the next 2 weeks,
Who knows?
he continued to look for it. Now, in those 2 weeks, multiple tour groups reported sightings of the skunk ape in that very same area. So, I mean, maybe there's a future where you and I go to Florida with pocketfuls of lima beans and a hope in our hearts and a camera. Maybe we'll find it.
I'm gonna throw them in an area
Mm-hmm.
and then run to safety.
You're going to slosh to safety through the thick marshes of the Everglades.
Well, it depends.
You also need
Do
to
I
be
need-
there because you're my mosquito magnet.
Well, here's
You're going to keep me safe.
God, the mosquitoes love me. I hate it. Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily need to run.
Just need to be faster than the next
How
person.
how fast do you run a mile, Christian?
You talked about you two guys. I
No.
wasn't including
We
your
need our man
conversation.
in the chair
Right.
there.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
There's no chairs in
Can't
the
move the
Everglades.
chair too quick through the
Look,
Everglades.
they got chairs with wheels on them.
I don't know.
I'll scoot you
He's
around.
scooting back and forth in his chair right now.
I was got to be faster than the slowest person.
There are theories on the skunk ape.
Okay.
And much like, Bigfoot, it's kind of like, is it a hoax or is it real?
Right.
We'll talk about that. Can't help but notice we didn't have a hoax or a real for Squonk. I don't know if Jillian was afraid of the truth, us discussing what went on.
I just want to interview Jillian now.
We definitely need to. Just a one-on-one, you and Jillian.
So what happened?
Like the bright lights. Where were you?
Have you seen one?
Yeah. Well, hello there, Task Force. Or at this point, I don't know. Should I just call you Squonkers? Feels like we have a very divisive topic on our hands. And we teased the idea of doing an interview with Jillian, but we actually did. We just today, as of today, filmed one, or recorded one, I should say. Alfredo sits down with Jillian, and we have that tucked away at the end of this episode, like a post-credit scene, as Christian likes to say. So stick around at the end of this episode. We're going to close out the episode. You're going to have the music and everything. And then at the end, Alfredo and Jillian are going to be talking about Squonk. And this is a great opportunity for you to get to know Jillian, the person who's been behind a lot of the research that we've done on this show. So yeah, it'll be a good time. We've also talked about in that maybe some Squonk propaganda to counter the Mothman propaganda. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something fun with that. But otherwise, stick around for that. It's a lot of fun. But let's talk about some of today's sponsors. This episode of Red Web is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We've talked about BetterHelp before here on Red Web, but right now we want to discuss some of the stigmas around mental health. There's so many misconceptions around therapy and who it's for, but therapy is truly for everyone. Learning to accept and move through our emotions is helpful to all humans. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. This episode of Red Web, once again, is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Task Force, you can get 10% off your first month if you so choose at betterhelp.com/redweb. That's BetterHelp.com/redweb. This episode of Red Web is also sponsored by Audible, where you can get a ton of audio entertainment all in one app. They've got the best of what you already love, plus some totally new discoveries. You might know Audible from the incredible selection of audiobooks across genres, from bestsellers and new release to celebrity memoirs. Audible members can choose one title a month to keep, including new releases, and new members can try Audible for free for 30 days. I was using Audible quite a lot to help me stay motivated in the gym. Now, I know a lot of people like to listen to music, but nothing got me out of bed like a good story, because I wanted to know what would happen next. And I would only allow myself to listen to those Audible stories in the gym. So I got to have these amazing stories that I also got to keep forever, while also kind of getting myself motivated to do something. So whether it is working out, going to the gym, driving to work, or whatever, Audible is a good opportunity to get some of that entertainment in your life. Visit audible.com/redweb or text redweb to 500-500 to try Audible free for 30 days. Again, that's 30 days of Audible free at audible.com/redweb, or simply text redweb as one word to 500-500 to join Audible and listen to a ton of book and podcast titles. And now back to some more obscure cryptids. But the last thing I want to say, kind of to support this image that I just referenced earlier. Now, this photo was taken, I believe, by Vince Dorr, who was a part of the Atrophy Fire Control District. In fact, he was the chief of such district. Supposedly, he photographed the creature walking away from him, which is very reminiscent of the quintessential, the famous Bigfoot photo where it's somebody lumbering away. Now, I have it printed out for you. It's blown up, and so it's very grainy. As always, Task Force, you know where to go, but it's very hard to see. It is circled for your convenience.
Yeah, it looks like Florida woods, and this thing is just like a very hairy man figure walking away.
Right. Coming back to the man who spoke half Spanish, Spanglish, asking his young son to take a photo of him. Maybe this is...
Well, yeah. I mean, look, right? In the world, he just goes, "Hey, mijo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk away, take a photo while I walk away, mijo. Check this out. Hey, check this out." He goes into a little post. Hey,
man.
check this one out. Huh? Yeah, you see that one? Huh? Yeah. That's what I said.
I'm gonna video this just so I can put this on the Twitter page. Hold on.
He just goes.
It's gonna be vertical. I'm sorry. What does he do?
He just goes. And mijo, just go. You like that one? I do too. There you go. I'm just saying.
All right.
That's what.
Hey, check
That's
this
what
one.
you do.
Check this one out.
Hey, check this. Check this.
And he's just doing the most subtle pose into the Bigfoot stance.
It's like that famous Bigfoot, huh?
Hey, check this out. All right, let's talk about some of the information behind it being a hoax, right?
Man in a
because
suit.
it very likely could be a man in a suit. Because that's the thing with a lot of cryptids that make them so hard to prove. They're fun to believe in. They're fun to like talk the stories about. But it just the burden of proof is so large, right? Because it's hard to say, zoologically speaking, how can this creature have been around for so long and only have a few whimsical sightings, a few pieces of evidence?
How we not run into it?
Exactly.
But also, it's just a matter of time before we catch these things in 4K, right?
Right. Or is it? I don't know. Maybe UFO
everyone's-
sightings stop with the blurry VHS tapes.
I mean, everyone has these super high res cameras on,
Mhm.
like that are literally their phones.
Right.
They'll whip this out in 2 seconds. And
Yeah.
now we're in a day and age where if anything happens, people whip out their phones and they're trying to scoop it on social media.
Right.
Even
Everyone's got their phones out.
even if they don't have a following, they're just like, I'm gonna record this and throw it up on my Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the ideas of it being a hoax first, because it does seem like without so much, there's way less information regarding the skunk ape as opposed to the other bigger cryptids we've talked about. But, much like any of them, it could be a hoax. With the popularity of sightings being specifically in the 60s and 70s, people may have just thought that they saw one or that they heard someone had saw one. So they then went
Right.
into it expecting to see
I'm
it.
gonna
And it,
jump in on this.
yeah, it's very reminiscent of
I
what we
wanna-
talked about with Mothman.
I want a cool story to tell.
Right. Or you come in with some preconceived notions, almost like a placebo effect sort of situation. They could have also seen another different animal that they maybe didn't even know what it was or recognize it. Joe Nickel, author and paranormal skeptic, believes that witnesses are actually seeing black bears with severe mange. That wouldn't be the first time that a creature with mange was on
Yeah, we talked about that. There was one where we talked about
Chupacabra.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was the wolf thing.
Oh, Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch.
That one as well.
That one where it was a wolf with mange.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's what the theory is.
Exactly. And I mean,
But you said there was like DNA tests that came back and like it didn't match anything.
yeah, and that's like,
As someone who has solved 99% of these cases that come through our door, that one threw me for a loop.
that's the only one that made it by you.
That's the only one.
Yeah, it's also hard to say when I didn't expect there to be black bears in Florida. And so if I'm looking through the woods, especially if I've heard of a skunk ape and I see something big moving,
Yeah.
especially if it's got a bunch of like moss on it or grime from being in the swamp, or if it's covered in mange, I might be inclined to think that it's something different, something cryptozoologically speaking, right?
Yeah, if from a distance that far in the woods, I see like this weird manged bear, I'd be like, "What is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Who took like a razor blade to this bear?"
Oh my God. Who taught this bear how to shave, right?
Yeah.
Looking real patchy. I mean, and also like the last note I want to say on the hoax is like, when it comes to the lima beans, you're in the Everglades. Lots of stuff living and scooping around in those waters. Anything could have eaten the lima beans.
Anything.
I mean, I could have been out there, looking to get some vitamin whatever's in those.
Your dad would have been proud.
He would have been proud. Just on a family trip, scooping up handfuls of lima beans in the Everglades. But let's talk about some of the ideas and arguments for it being real. Because, especially if you believe in like Bigfoot and Yeti.
Right.
Or
this is a cousin or an
Exactly.
adjacent creature.
Yeah. Could this be a long lost, if you will, like relative to Gigantopithecus, or a long lost ancestor to humans that grew up next to us but secluded, right, from our civilizations?
So we know someone that believes in squonks.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be someone in this company that we know that believes in Bigfoot, right?
Let's put the feelers out.
Send some emails, post some
Yeah.
slacks.
If anyone
Really-
truly believes in Bigfoot.
Let's really make sure we start from the top down. Start with the
yeah.
GM of the company.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
work
know
our
if
way
I feel-
down.
I don't know if I feel
I
comfortable
think we need to
approaching him about
prioritize
that.
this.
I might be-
Urgent.
I might defer to you on that.
I think we
Trevor.
say urgent twice in the title. That'll
Yeah.
push it to the top.
Just go ahead and throw 5 meetings on the calendar as well.
You can't dodge all of them. But I mean, yeah, like especially if you believe it, it is an interesting theory to expand upon the idea of some other, whether like ape-like creature,
Yeah.
evolving next to us, but being in so low numbers that somehow they make it to modern day, but they just don't get
How do we
seen.
not see
It would
that?
be very nuts.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
But it could be related to Bigfoot, could be related to Yeti. But Sheely argues that because of the swampy nature of the Everglades, signs of the skunk ape would very quickly decompose, therefore making it hard to track down and figure out if, especially if it's hair or footprints, they all get washed away or dissolved over time. Gators eat anything too, right?
Yeah.
You could put a metal hook in a gator's
But I mean,
gullet.
what
It
about
would-
like footprints and the poop?
Water dissolvable, right? Or water
Yeah.
soluble.
And of course, you probably walk across the poop and you just go, you know what?
That's mud.
It either looks like mud, or like a bear did it, or some kind of animal, or if it looks more human-like, then
Mhm.
you just go, there's some weird person taking poops in the wood and not burying it.
Maybe it's the lima bean guy.
Who's out here clear pooping?
Popping, squatting, and hanging out in the Everglades. But the linchpin in the argument for the skunk ape being real,
Oh, here we go.
an anonymous person reported to the police.
Of course, anonymous. All right.
You saw this photo
Step
already.
one.
I would want to distance myself from this claim perhaps as well. They said that they saw that there was an orangutan in the wild near Myakka River State Park. They included an image which had been called the Myakka skunk ape. Now that's the image I showed you, is this one right here.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying because it's
Still.
like glowing eyes in the dark. It's very smiley orangutan behind some
Just like-
shrubs, some ferns.
At night, you get that like
Mhm.
that light glare in the eyes.
Yeah. And it also looks a lot darker than a orangutan. But I guess, if somebody had an orangutan pet, we got orangutan king out there now, and they
That
released
is
it to the wild,
true.
it would probably be able to live as long as its natural life. It would probably figure things out unless a predator came through. I don't know if multiple were released, but it would fit all of the sightings. It is not meant for this environment, so it would get very terrible smelling, right? Very quickly.
True.
If it was said that the skunk ape has reddish hair, which
Mhm.
definitely plays with the orangutan angle, and the size of it, if it stood upright, could easily look like that.
If it was to be real,
If it was to be real, right?
I believe it. Yeah, sure.
And I
Orangutan.
don't know. I'm not saying that like
I don't
it's
think it was a
straight
bear or
up
some
real,
huge
but I am
thing.
saying that it's Florida. Someone definitely owns an orangutan, whether legal or not, and someone else has certainly released an orangutan to the wild, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Releasing
I buy
animals
that.
to the wild outside of their natural environment is a big issue,
Right.
especially in Florida. Gators, snakes, all those sort of things.
So the people that believe in the skunk ape believe that it's an orangutan.
They might believe that it is a cryptid, right? Like
Okay.
a set alone species.
Interesting.
But the idea that this sighting came through, that there was an orangutan with such a clear photo, kind of says, okay, maybe there is something that is being seen, but this is the answer to that thing, rather than it being a new
Right.
species. And to that,
I buy that.
I would say that makes more sense
Yeah,
to me.
that makes sense to me. If that was
Yeah.
an actual real photo, I'm telling you, we open Red Web HQ, like maybe a couple services to the public. One of those services being, we'll verify whether or not the photo is real, because my goodness, the number of things that come through this damn table
Mm-hmm.
that have just like, has anyone verified this at all whatsoever? We get maybe someone that retired from the FBI.
Oh.
Yeah. An old grizzly guy is just like,
Maybe we can poach
I've-
someone.
I've had enough.
Maybe
But then, like,
just when I had enough,
just when I had
they
enough,
pull me
they
right
pull
back
me
in.
back in
Do
with
we
this
want someone
skunk
grizzled, old, and angry, or do we want someone fresh, hungry, willing to
We need
grow?
someone to whip.
We need to
department
poach them
into
from the
shape.
FBI. FBI's going, we're losing people left and right to the task force. What is this? I've never heard of this agency. Is this the UK? Is this MI6? And we'll be like, absolutely we are.
And then we'll be served 50 million cease and desist.
Right. Then we'll be forcibly dissolved and arrested. And then when the podcast disappears one day, you'll just know. We're in-
the FBI came for us.
Yeah, we are in lockdown somewhere. Some like dark off the
We
grid
signed a
site.
lease for an office. We started recruiting, and then the FBI shut us down.
Yes, I can't help but see that you have a listing here that we don't like. Let's talk about the last cryptid, the last
Okay.
obscure cryptid that we're
The
going to talk
last
about for
one.
this episode.
Here we go. This has been a wild ride so far.
Yes. And before I get into it, Task Force, you know the many ways to reach out to us. You can comment on our videos. You can review us. You can email us at redweb@roosterteeth.com. If you want us to check out any other cryptids, you can tweet us. We see all of it. So if there's other obscure cryptids that you think would make for whether a lighthearted episode like this or something a little bit like more eerie, we would love to hear, because we were trying to build this list of cryptids, and there's a lot out there that we just don't know about, and we don't know how much information is on some of these.
I'm sure there's other ones that are really fun, and other ones are like scary and
Spooky.
terrifying. Maybe some kind of ghouls.
Some ghouls. Man, if the task force has their own evidence of these things too, oh, I'd love to see that. Love to see that stuff.
Like, make sure you verify it first. I don't know, like contact the proper authorities.
Like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a service.
Us. We are the service.
Pending.
Okay. It's you.
You know what? I verify it.
You know what? I verified it already before it comes in. Let's talk about now
Okay.
the final cryptid.
Well,
The Oklahoma octopus.
What?
They just kind of took the state name and the nearest looking creature, and it's not Squonk.
Is it just an octopus?
Well, let's get into it. I don't know.
Is
So
it
this
just a
one,
really big octopus?
we'll get in there. So
If this is some kind of man octopus that lives on land, I swear to
a man octopus. Now I'm just thinking of an octopus that trudges up on the beach, but then you see its tentacles kind of swirling around it, and then it goes, nah. And then, like it was being abducted off the beach, it rises, but beneath it, two sheer, shiny, pale, bald legs, fresh underneath it, human legs
just
that
like,
it walks up on top of, and then it just waltzes away.
It's like baby legs, like thick.
No, tall.
Oh, tall.
5 foot legs, 2
Jesus
kneecaps,
Christ.
10 toes, 2
Oh.
ankles, 2 heels, 2 feet,
Oh, his heels.
busting thighs,
Oh, okay. Well,
cheeked up.
You need the juiciest of thighs.
Yeah. And no front like a Ken doll.
I need
And then
someone to
it
draw
wanders
this
off.
monstrosity.
Anyway, let's talk about the Oklahoma octopus. Now, this one, unlike the other two, does not live on land, as you could have maybe gathered.
Okay.
It is specifically in the water. It doesn't go back and forth. It is specifically in the water.
Cryptid of the sea.
Well, a lake. I don't know how much, seafront property you're expecting in Oklahoma.
That's true. There's none.
But yeah, so this is all surrounding Oklahoma's Lake Thunderbird and Lake 10 Killer. So shout out to any of our Oklahoma Task Force members who live in the nearby area. If you don't know about this, maybe you do.
Yeah, my Okies.
Yeah.
Is that what they
The
call them?
Okies.
I don't-
Now, a lot of visitors have been drowned in these lakes, purportedly by what some believe to be a cryptid. And that's what they call the Oklahoma octopus. Now, when described, because it hasn't been seen by a whole lot of people, it's more of a story-based sort of thing so far, and very recent at that. So it's described as a giant leathery freshwater octopus. It's reddish-brown in nature, and it's said to be the size of a horse.
Cool. That's big.
Very big.
But
That
there
creeps me
aren't there,
out.
like,
I don't want to go swimming in Oklahoma
Squids
now.
and octopuses that are that large, like in the sea.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Squids, at least,
Yeah,
right? You have
squids.
the giant, and then...
Huge squids.
Well, there's the giant squid, and then
there
there's...
was an octopus too, as well. Christian, go ahead.
Why
and
am I
crunch those
blanking on the
numbers,
other
please.
one?
Giant Pacific octopus.
Yeah.
Large marine cephalopod. It's not giving me a size. Hang on.
Okay, go ahead and recrunch it.
Yeah, crunch those numbers.
Stand by. Scientific record: the heaviest giant Pacific octopus was 156 pounds. No
My
length.
God.
Man, 156. I weigh more than them. What?
But for an octopus,
What?
it's all brain. It's all brain and tentacle.
With an arm length
He's
of almost
flexing
10
right
feet.
now. He's got his arms out, puckered lips. He's trying to front on an octopus in
Oh,
Oklahoma.
the octopus stepped up on me, bro. What you?
We got Skunk Ape pulling up, and then now we've he's doing so many things. Like, he's getting closer to the microphone, like you can hear it. Like, I have to describe it.
Just
All right, boost the audio. That is one step away from my Poseidon, and maybe that's why. Oh, that's how battles go down underwater. You got Poseidon go, and then.
I was good.
Okay, so we have the giant squid, which is about 43 feet in length.
I mean,
13
that's
meters long, huge,
heavy.
and may have weighed nearly a ton. I don't know how much of that is water weight, but hey, we're not gonna make them sweat it out on the
Wait, you
treadmill.
might have weighed nearly a ton?
Supposedly. I mean, maybe that's the estimate. Now I'm trying to figure out.
All right, I'm not stepping up to that.
Now there's a graphic that shows, because there's the giant squid, but then there's something else like supermassive squid, or just like basically a synonym. Colossal squid.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's the giant squid and the colossal squid. I believe the colossal squid is much chunkier and like in size. I think it's the one on the left. And then the giant squid is smaller but longer because of its main attack tentacles are super long.
Tentacles.
So one is
Damn.
short and stout, but like definitely bigger mass.
Its reach is
The other one's like
massive.
a lot shorter, but with
Just-
really long reach. Yeah, exactly.
Real big.
But yeah, so that's what we're looking at, a freshwater octopus at this point. Now, the reason why people think that it might be a cryptid is not only because the drownings that have happened in the area, but the lakes are said to have an unusually high amount of deaths and drownings, particularly in the 2000s, the early 2000s. So they're attributing it to something. Now, the scientist in me, the very weak, feeble scientist in me says, what are the other natural causes? What else could be happening here that makes the water a little bit more unsafe? But we're talking about cryptids. So in 2008, the drownings in particular increased by 40%, a 1-year spike of 40%. Now, I don't know how many people it is, and I feel like it's too morbid to ask, but was it in the hundreds or anything, Christian? Like 40% increase of drowning? Yeah. On what number?
Yeah, it's hard to say. The numbers are all over the place, basically. But the most drastic result that I'm seeing is the state health department's injury prevention service. I don't know exactly what that encompasses. Reported 93 drownings in 2008, but 2009 figures were about 77.
Okay, so like that's already a decent amount of unfortunate
A lot.
happenings.
But did they find the bodies?
Ooh, because
That's
under this storytelling, you would imagine that
right. There'd
gulped
be
up. What a terrible way to go. The tiny little beak of an octopus, even if it's the size of a horse, that's like...
Dude, those things look like they just pierce everything that comes across them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, were the bodies like, I don't know, turned up? Because then at that point, you'd probably see some sort of marking or bruising that it was an octopus or maybe some beak marks.
The gripping from the tentacles or anything like that. Well, while Christian looks into that, I want to kind of expand upon the story of this particular cryptid. So Norman, Oklahoma, where Lake Thunderbird is located, is known for other weird and paranormal activities as well. So this isn't like a unique thing.
Okay.
There are stories of a ghost in a barber shop, for example, and ghosts that haunt the University of Oklahoma campus. I don't know if they're necessarily related to these events, these drownings in particular, or to the cryptid at large. But it at least shows that there's some sort of other activity there, whether it be real or not. It, on one hand, it shows a bunch of belief into these things, and so it could become a runaway issue, or it could show that this is a paranormal hotspot and that this cryptid is just a part of that, right?
Yeah. What unfinished business? Because usually it's like, oh, it's a ghost.
Homework.
They stick around, so it's like, unfinished
I gotta get to class. Gotta get to class.
What about a ghost in a barbershop?
Sometimes you want to just hang out and chill and chat,
You're not just ready to
just
pass.
good conversations happening in a
Or if
barbershop.
the ghost was evil, I just imagine you'd be hitting people up with bowl haircuts.
Could you imagine, like, somebody's working on a really nice fade, and then the
All
ghost is like,
sudden-
I've mustered up enough energy to touch something once in this decade. Yeah, and just shoves it. What do you do? You're like, oh,
messing up people's
a
dudes.
bald spot.
But bro, man, that's you sign up for the ghost. He hit you with it.
Yeah. Hey, once a decade, this ghost musters up enough strength to
Hit
shove
you with
my
a gross fade.
to shove my shaving arm. Let's hope it's not you. But hey, in Arkansas, there was also a man named John Mazurek who caught an octopus in Lake Conway in 2003. It was clinging to the gates on the dam. So it isn't unheard of, basically, is what I'm saying. It's not unheard of that octopi make their way into these inland areas and into these freshwater lakes. Whether they would prey on people or not is kind of a different story.
It's like a rogue octopus.
Especially if like there's other creatures living in there that octopus would normally feed on, right? Like fish or something. But visitors have claimed to spot the Oklahoma octopus, but there's no physical evidence of the creature. So it still remains in the realm of storytelling at this point. Others claim that counter to the idea of this being a cryptid, what is actually preying on a lot of the swimmers is a giant catfish. I don't know if you have seen how big a catfish can get,
No.
but Christian, we need to pull up a photo. Catfish can get spooky huge, and they can
What?
swallow you whole.
What?
Yes.
What do you mean? Bro,
Hit me with it.
I'm 6'1",
Gone.
180. You tell me a cactus goes cactus. Catfish? Cactus will mess me up. Catfish go
Mhm.
swallow me whole?
Under the right circumstances, entirely possible.
I
me-
mean, just
That's-
Googling
no way.
largest catfish, you get some real big boys.
Right.
I'm a grown ass man.
Look at this.
Holy. Okay, that's big.
Turn around like immediately.
It's so.
This is just the first photo when I look at large catfish. So like a lot of fish, and this is me just going off of things I've been told in my life.
We need to cut those things off.
Like a lot of fish, catfish, like a gas, will expand to fill the vessel that they are given. Goldfish do the same thing. Catfish just are bottom feeders. They eat everything.
Yeah.
And so they usually are, hard to starve out because they'll find something to eat on. And when they're in a lake and they're not
Whoa.
poached or they're not killed by other circumstances, they can just keep growing as long as there's food there to be eaten.
What?
Yeah.
So,
And so let me pull
so
up.
what do they do? You're just like sucking
Look
on
at
your
that.
legs? Oh my God! I
Cat-
can fit in that thing.
Exactly.
All right, never
So I'm just
mind.
showing them a couple photos here.
This thing will swallow me whole.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I've seen photos of catfish just swimming by and sucking something down. Like fish do.
What?
They just open their mouth, swim
Yeah.
by, and it pulls in some of the water, and in you go. And so if a catfish was, stalking somebody or just hungry or whatever, it just like the way it looks is like they open their mouth and it creates that suction.
Yeah.
And suddenly, before you can even react,
Oh my God!
You
You're
can
just
be
being dissolved inside a catfish.
just pulled in.
What a random death.
Could you imagine? You just be like, "Where am I? What am I? What is this? What am I in?"
Has that ever
And then you
happened?
Boba Fett out. Yeah.
I would Drax.
Has that ever happened?
Oh, Drax.
Probably. Oh yeah, you Drax with me. Good thing you were clutching your two knives. Da, 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 da. Ha, ha. But yeah,
Has that ever?
it's definitely
that thing is
happened.
huge. What the hell?
Anacondas have put down some kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure catfish have, not just in Oklahoma, but in other
Okay,
places.
so this thing is a catfish.
Yeah,
What is it? Oklahoma? No.
Oklahoma
Ohio.
catfish.
Why are we calling it an octopus? It's probably a catfish.
Well, that's what some people claim. Some people have claimed that they saw a freshwater octopus, giant, leathery, reddish brown. Others claim that what is probably lurking in the water, most likely,
right.
all things considered, giant catfish, right?
The lake, 100K. You just
Swim across.
You just swim across.
Tread for how long?
Tread for I don't know, like an hour. You can take breaks.
100K in an hour? Done.
Done. You
Just
tread
like on the shore or like
No,
just
in the
dead
middle of
center,
it.
just smack
dead
dab
center.
in the middle of it.
Smack dab, dead center. You just treading for an hour, 100K.
The question for me is, can I even tread water for an hour? That's tough.
Yeah, say you could.
But
Say you could get that out of the way.
I'm
You
not too
could.
worried about the middle because catfish usually stay at the bottom. They're not usually, and I'm mostly, I'm talking out of the side of my ass here.
Christian, you want to go off
They
this man's usually?
They
not at all.
mostly don't,
Really don't think I do.
they're not seeking things out and hunting. They're not like sharks.
Well, yeah, for sure. I don't, yeah.
So I would imagine once
So-
you get closer to the shore
Most
where they
likely
like
you're
have their little
fine.
mud caves, they come out and get you.
I would think I'd be perfectly fine. But 10 minutes ago, you just told me a catfish can suck a human whole.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Tell me I'm going to suck down like a lollipop.
Give me 2 knives, a little bit of a life vest to help keep me a little bit afloat. I'll still kick with my legs. And then if I get sucked in, knives out.
You'd have confidence that you just cut your way through a catfish?
I don't know. I would need some sort of localized respirator.
That confidence went from 60 to 0. It went the complete opposite direction. He's like, just give me 2 knives. I don't know.
I just need to have the best opportunity I can ask for. I would say if I had a respirator so I could breathe inside the thing. I don't want to suffocate while I'm trying to hack out.
You
I
already
also
got the knives.
I could go to the depths of the lake.
You
My
already
ears
got the
get
knives.
blown out.
You already got the So, I'm gonna be comfortable when I break out as a catfish.
Yeah, I want to break out and live, not break out and die. All right. Well,
All
much
right.
like Skunk Ape, let's talk about the hoax and reality behind or the theories rather behind this. So the Oklahoma octopus could easily be a hoax, right? Especially when you have the idea of giant catfish swimming around.
That's wild.
First and foremost, no cephalopods have ever been able to survive consistently in fresh water. Not that we are aware of anyway, unless there's a new species. And so if there was a giant octopus, there most likely isn't one now.
It might have just been like, well, didn't you say it stopped? There was like a spike.
Yeah, in the early 2000s.
Ooh.
Specifically in 2008 is when the drownings increased.
Is this like a
very
Lake
quickly.
Placid type situation?
Could be.
Someone just threw in a giant octopus that was supposed to be there?
Yeah, could be. Another wrinkle to this cryptid being in this lake is that Lake Thunderbird is a man-made lake constructed as recently as 1965, so it is unlikely for an octopus to have been able to reach it and adapt then to the fresh water in such a short time. A natural lake could be connected to the ocean in the past, present, future, whatever.
Right.
This was built, constructed. I mean, it doesn't mean there aren't creatures in it. I think that's where the catfish could easily come into play. Or, like you said, somebody released a giant octopus into this, and then it preyed on
If it
people.
was man-made, why would we put catfish in it?
We wouldn't. But what happens is, even if you make a lake, you could put a pool out and then just never touch it, and eventually fish will show up in it because birds will inadvertently bring eggs on their feet and on their feathers from other places. And then they land, and the eggs fall off, and then they hatch, and then that's how you get a populated lake that was man-made.
I learned a lot today.
Yeah. Facts with Trey. In addition to it being man-made, there are no connecting inlets to Lake Thunderbird. So the fact that it's all isolated really make it hard to believe that this would be the one unique time for a freshwater octopus to be making their arrival. But let's talk about the idea of it being real and what kind of factors play into that. Some people believe that it is feasible for an octopus to adapt to fresh waters. Octopi have a relative short reproductive cycle, and it could evolve faster than other animals because of that. They have adapted to live all over the world, including extremely cold waters down in Antarctica, so it's shown their adaptability. And they also can survive on land for short periods of time, perhaps long enough to somehow get into Lake Thunderbird. Again, I don't know if they're slopping along the beach, stepping up onto their nice legs, and then strutting their way over, but
I mean, that
maybe
sounds
some
like a
help.
long journey.
It's a long journey. But maybe with some help, I don't know.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Straight onto the beach, then got thrown into the lake or somehow made it over, and then it adapted.
Mhm.
Some kind of super freak of an octopus.
There's some sort of like mad scientist on the shorelines of the lake running experiments just to create a freshwater octopus, and his creature got out of hand.
Do you know there's probably someone trying to do that somewhere?
Probably.
That's also, I mean, some kind of like island of Dr. Moreau type situation.
I feel like
more
any-
like basement of
I
Dr.
feel like
Moreau.
everything is possible. So even
Yeah.
if you come up with something as specific as that, the world is so big, there's so many people,
So many people.
something like that's going
You
on.
can't keep eyes on everybody.
I don't know.
No, there's no way.
I almost said something about eyes and octopus having 8 of them, but I
Yeah.
made a mistake.
Yeah.
Another thing is jellyfish are also able to adapt to fresh water. And so people say because of that, maybe octopus can also do that.
Wouldn't we see markings though? Like jellyfish stings and whatnot?
I just think they're saying that because jellyfish are able to adapt,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that they're using that as their reasoning for other
That octopus could as well.
other creatures to do it.
Did we ever find out if we saw the bodies?
Oh, right.
It didn't really go into detail. It just said that the highest percentage of those drowning deaths were from lakes, and that the total statistics encompassed, I think, lakes, swimming pools, hot tubs, and a fourth thing that I don't remember.
What?
Wait a minute. So a lot of the drownings include hot tubs?
It includes deaths from water in lakes, pools, bathtubs, and hot tubs. But
So-
the highest percentage of drownings came from lakes.
The last thing that kind of helps support this cryptid's potential is that a lot of people believe because North America used to be covered in ocean, which is proven by fossil records, that the Oklahoma octopus could be a living fossil from that time period. Doesn't really, again, stand up because of the fact that most lakes in Oklahoma are man-made. I also don't know how you could have a living fossil.
Right.
There's a lot of strange things out there. There's tardigrades that can last a long-ass time and survive a lot of things, but they're very small. I don't know if there's a
Just
big
just
creature.
like dormant in the dirt. Like,
Right.
Is that what they're trying to I guess, get at.
I don't know about that.
That was a stretch.
It is a bit of a stretch. But either way, those are 3 obscure cryptids here in North America. I would love to hear Task Force about any obscure cryptids from around the world.
This is a wild ride.
A wild ride. Started with Squonk.
A Squonk, which,
Mhm.
geez, that was just blasted into my brain holes.
Yeah.
Introduced to me.
Took a swing down through the Everglades.
Then you have, I don't know, someone's like dad or Theo. I don't know, man. Someone's
it's always the uncle.
Someone's uncle is like, hey, check this out. But like, yeah.
They're like, I got all the fun of being a parent, but none of the responsibility.
skunk
Take a
tape.
photo.
Yeah. Hey, I ordered this over the week. Amazon Prime. Check this out. And like, just dressed up and then did a photo shoot. And then the last one, catfish are freaking scary, man.
Well, yeah. If there's
like,
nothing else you take from this.
You're right. If there's anything else and you go, I don't believe in squonks. I don't believe in what is this, skunk ape. Catfish are real. And they're deadly.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Some catfish are venomous.
Oh, really?
I think I do remember that.
Do they have like little barbs in their fins?
I think so, yeah. Something like that.
Ugh. Imagine just a hawk
we eat
of catfish fillet. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Just imagine that
I know, but
big juicy catfish that they're holding, and then like just how much meat's on that. Would that taste good, or would it be too big?
I guess it depends how you cook it. How many servings you get.
Season it.
Keep it whole and deep fry it.
I mean, anything tastes decent.
biggest
You put
deep fry.
garlic and butter in it.
It's true.
You're not wrong.
I think what we're working on here is a cryptid road trip for Red Web and the task force. We're going to each state, and we're going to taste try each of the cryptids. Well, this has been interesting. Again, like I said at the top, a little bit more lighthearted, but it's always nice to sprinkle in some of these lighthearted ones or solve the ones.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I still want to talk to Jillian. I have
definitely
so many questions.
Yeah.
Man, I can. I don't know how that's gonna go. I could sit here and Jillian could just be like, "This fun, cute little creature," or she'd be like, "This is my stuff, squonk, squonk, bam,"
my squonk.
and then throw it onto the table. I'd be like,
check out all my squonk paraphernalia.
Right.
I've got my squonk mug, and it's like in the shape of a squonk.
I got a squonk on my iPhone wallpaper and
My squonk tattoo.
Yeah.
Hey,
you never know.
You never know.
This has been a fun one. Catfish are terrifying.
Yeah.
Should we close out? She show Alfredo a picture of a squonk.
Oh yes, absolutely. I don't know why we didn't have one. You know what? Maybe she was bashful and she didn't want to put a photo of her creature, much like she didn't want to put photos or theories of the creature. Oh my God. Now, picture this:
What a crazy ride.
a pug
What?
mixed with a bulldog,
Okay.
and I'm talking like 10 extra bulldogs. You know, with the wrinkles and stuff.
The wrinkly skin.
Now
flabby.
mixed with a naked mole rat. Now shrink the body, but keep the skin where it was.
That's gross.
Here we go. This one's got some tears and drool.
Oh, I mean, I could see. It looks just like a hairless dog with a bunch of droopy skin, like an obscene amount of droopy skin, and is crying. I could see how someone would be like, "That's cute."
I just want to say, Kat, our intern, is sitting in, and she looked like she thinks it's very cute.
I was just going to
very
ask
much
if
had a
she
reaction.
wanted to be included, because as soon as I showed Fredo, Kat was like, she was like,
Look,
instantly
it's
won over. And I think
not-
that's the power of the squonk.
It's not as ugly as I thought it would be.
You look a little too close, a little too
But I
long.
didn't jump to
You're
cute.
going to fall in love with the thing.
I knew.
What
though.
in the hell is this?
I knew someone was gonna be like, "That's kind of cute."
Now, this, I don't know what this is, but it was a related photo, and I want to show you.
That's like a Squonk's OnlyFans.
Yeah. Yes. It looks like
What
one of the.
photo are you looking
It looks like it looks like a piglin from
Bro,
Minecraft,
he just like
but
legs
he's
spread out, dripping wet.
What in the world?
Yeah.
See, I know, didn't I?
Now that's
you'd subscribe.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
$5.99
squonk
photo
daddy.
right there.
that's Daddy Squonk. He's the one that births them all from
Oh God,
from his tear ducts.
All right,
How about this
thanks
one?
for joining. Oh, okay, that one's disgusting.
Is this one better,
Looks
Kat?
like he's kind of like melting.
Okay,
Gross.
I
There
found
you
one
go.
that Kat said is gross.
gross.
Yeah,
Like it's melting away.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this has been a really fun one. As always, we like to push our
awesome.
push our horizons here at Red Web.
What a weird episode. I love it.
If you want to continue supporting the show, we do have a YouTube channel now. We've talked about this YouTube channel quite a bit. We're working on at least another project right now to put on the YouTube channel. So please subscribe, support that channel as it grows. It gets the word out. It helps us in that algorithm over there on YouTube. But
something visually cool.
Something very visually cool that I can't wait to share. It will also be on the Rooster Teeth homepage and app if you want to support us there. You can also support us at store.roosterteeth.com. Search for that Red Web merch or just tell a friend about us. It's the best way to support us without even having to spend a dime.
Yeah,
just bring somebody into the task force.
We've seen people here and there strutting that Red Web merch.
Hell
and it's
yeah.
the coolest feeling in the world.
Yep.
Let me tell you. So
Yep.
thank you for that.
Yes. And we're always working on something else. So stay tuned. We'll tell you about the incoming merch, the incoming ideas that we've got, all of that good stuff. But otherwise, Fredo, see you right back here next Monday for another mystery.
Boom. Post-credit scene. You thought this was over. It's not. Jillian, you're here. I've got questions. Trevor's not here. He won't be able to save you. Tell me, how long have you been a fan of this creature?
I think I was like Googling and I saw this guy and he was crying and I was like, hey. You see this image?
Was this? Oh, it looks like a rotten potato crying.
Yeah.
And you.
That's everything to me. He's everything to me.
Why? Okay. How long has Squonk been everything to you?
I don't know. It's been a while. I was on my trip and they posted this in the chat and I was like, yes, there he is.
Give me like time periods. Like when did you first figure out Squonk was a thing?
I mean, I just look up weird stuff for Red Web and eventually you come across something special. So
Oh, okay. All right. That's
sometimes you find something and I put it on the list. Like I put it there
right.
as like a pipe dream.
I'll be
Maybe
honest.
like a year. I don't know. Like
right. Exactly.
how long have I been working here? Like I don't know.
I'll sneak it in. So maybe like a year ago is when you came across Squonk.
Yeah, and I was like on vacation and they posted in chat and I was like, I'm coming back from vacation. I don't care.
So this was after you already knew, or this is how you discovered?
No, that is after I already knew.
So this was a Squonk resurgence.
So I was like, oh my gosh, they discovered him too. They know him too.
They know Squonk, this trash tier cryptid. And you were like, oh my God, this could be a thing.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, this is what I thought this interview would be, and I'm not sure if I was ready for it. I thought I was, but I don't quite know.
No,
and so like, how many times, like a week or a day, do you like have pictures of Squonk? Do you have like is it your phone wallpaper? Like, what are we talking about here? What's the level of interest?
I'm just kind of thinking about him.
Right. It's just always constantly kind of on your mind.
From time to time,
Yeah,
Sometimes I get down and I'm like, what would Squonk do?
Oh,
Squonk would melt into a puddle. Like,
you would. And you just go, did you like lay on the floor at that point and you go,
Yeah.
I'm a puddle?
Squonk would.
Christian, this is a hard-hitting interview right now. What are you laughing about?
We all have moments where we feel ugly and horrible, and we just want to go into the beautiful, lush wetlands of the hemlock forest of Pennsylvania.
That's very specific. Yeah, no, I get it. Right, where Squonk where Squonk thrives.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like splash water on you to really immerse yourself?
A little, maybe.
Sometimes
I'm sweating a little bit right now already, so it's kind of happening slowly. We're slowly getting there.
So, like, do you have any fan art of Squonk? Do you have like pictures of Squonk saved? If I was like,
no, you're not understanding. You're not understanding.
No, yeah.
Squonk is a state of being. Squonk is a moment.
Oh damn.
Squonk is the vibe.
Write that down.
Yeah, put that in the outline. I forgot about that part.
It's going on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
This is real for you. I respect that.
Yeah.
No worries.
Maybe showing my mental state a little too much here, but
no, this is a safe place. I think we all feel like we want to melt sometimes, and you just found the visual for it. So you believe that Squonk exists?
No, like I said.
Right, state of mind.
Right here.
It always exists in your heart.
Yeah.
So what if we were to go and explore it, and you were to see a Squonk? What would happen at that point?
I think I would cry, and I would melt, and we'd be good to go.
And you just melt into one big puddle.
Yeah. Evangelion mode. Like we're gone.
Oh, I get it. Okay. All right, we're going. Well, do you see a return of Squonk in this podcast?
Yeah, I think.
Do you think there's more to uncover?
I think there's more. I think
Seriously?
something. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was like, wait.
I just think it's fun. Like we have all these cryptids that are like, whoa, it's a monster.
Right,
Whoa.
right,
And this one's
exactly.
just like, he's crying.
It can't be flashy all the time, right?
Yeah.
It can't be these big winged cryptids, these Jersey devils. Sometimes it's just this weird little melting potato that cries.
It's just a little guy.
Yeah, no, I feel it. So, like, do your parents know?
No, I haven't told my mom yet.
Oh, okay. All right, interesting. Will Squonk be something that's like possibly a part of like your will
I hope so.
or something?
I hope
Yeah,
so.
in your heart.
If we find one.
We find one.
Hmm.
Did you keep it?
I don't know if we could.
Right, probably melt.
But
But
we
would
would
you
just,
like scoop up the goop at that point?
Maybe we would just keep an eye on it. Maybe we would watch it from afar.
You'd want to try and tag it,
Yeah.
have a little GPS, and you just go look at him go.
He's
But
just sitting
I
there.
mean, what would happen then at that point if like you're tracking him and he's going, and then all of a sudden for like 2 weeks it doesn't move?
I mean, that would be cool.
The
I
tracker
mean,
doesn't move.
how long would he go? Like, that would just be cool to see how far. Or you think how long he could just sit there?
or maybe he melted.
You think he melted?
Yeah,
Then I'm out for blood. I don't know.
you're out for blood.
Yeah.
Interesting. That would be a murder that we would cover for sure. Well, Task Force, I don't know what else to say, but I thank you for coming and sharing your love for Squonk with
Thank
us
you.
here today.
Thank you for having me.
This was everything I wanted.
I had no idea what was happening.
And Jillian, keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Killing
yeah,
it.
fantastic work.
Wow.
But thank you.
I could cry and melt right here.
Oh!